Oh, I got one thumbs up already. Sweet. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, it's just been one of them friggin' weeks, man. Oh man, goodness. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I got two more races in me, and I'm trying to determine which one to go to. Um, I either drive 3 and 3/4 hours to the UAS Northeast Divisional, or I go to the 5K race. Um, I'm leaning towards the divisional only because this is only my second time running the Open this year, and I want to try some stuff. And it seems to be a special race. Um, I would like to do the 5K. I really would, but uh, it might be rough. It really, really might be rough. A rough go, and if I'm gonna have a rough go at something, I'd like to be a little closer to home than better part of 8 hours. Uh, but we'll see. My wife says I'll probably be undecided up until the day before the race. So that happens with me. I am very indecisive. Also, welcome to live chat. Remember to guard and privacy, abide by our community guide. Yeah, abide by my community guide. It's YouTube's community guidelines, not mine, because I don't care. Don't be dinks to one another. There's my rule. Uh, but yeah, let's see. I gotta turn this brightness up. One, ooh, uno momento. There, now I can see it. Yeah, so I plan on running twice, at least twice. The To finish off the year, I am running Saturday at AMS. Some of you might have seen the video I put up of me grinding some 11. So this is I don't know if I'll make a video on it or not. It's a point of contention with me that when I do something or other people do something, if you show something to somebody and then somebody's just like, "Oh, you have to do it like this." That's the way to do tires. You have to start the tires with 80, 120, 320, 420, 880, 800 grit, this and that. It's just like, well, okay, you can do your tires like that, but there are different tracks. There are different, like for instance, they happen to be mentioning that those were Maxis and Reapers that they're talking about, and those I'm assuming would be for a harder track. Okay, cool. I agree, but don't just blanket statement. This is what you should do. You don't know what what surface I'm on. You don't know the diameter I'm shooting for. You don't know what prep I'm running. You don't know. With Burris up here up north, we like to run a little rougher of a surface. It's not unheard of to hit the tread with the 40, 60, 80 grit. Leave that nice texture to the surface of it. It's a little like siping, but not really. It just gives a little more bite on the super loose, soft type of tracks that we have up here. And that would be unheard of down south. But it just, not that you guys do it, but in general, it kind of it burns my cookies a little bit when people are just so matter of factly. I had somebody come in and just like put 60% cross in it. Trust me. Okay, I can put 60% cross in my chassis, but do you know what left I'm running? Do you know what nose I'm running? Do you know what kind of staggers I'm running? There's a lot more to than just blanket statements of "do this." It worked for me. That's congratulations. I think that's fantastic. It worked for you, but there, everybody's. I'm a different racer than the next guy. Some people like to enter the corner lower. Some people like to run it higher. Some people like more stagger. Some people just drive corners differently. I think that people in general should you can offer, hey, present it like this. You might want to try this, and then somebody go, "Thank you very much. I appreciate that." Not just bold statement, do this. It's like, uh, about that. Got some yellow Vegas. What's some tips for them? Yellow Vegas, depending on what kind of surface you're on. Um, You can prep the dog snot out of them if you want. The softer tracks we run up here, um, what for whatever reason the combination, I don't know what prep you run, if you run track tack or not, but I'll suggest it. Um, half better than goat pee and half SAA grape blended together as an internal. Um, Whatever it is, whatever magic that creates inside a Vega yellow makes it an absolutely grip monster on whatever track you're running. It will drop durometer. Obviously those are fairly aggressive preps, but you can prep even if you're running other stuff. Um, that they will take abuse. The one thing that was nice this year, so yeah, red clay. You could probably get fairly aggressive unless it really gets hard and compacted. Then take it easy on prepping with yellow Vegas. But one thing I'll say about Vegas is they will pull to the cords. Your left rear may seem thin. It doesn't matter. It's gonna eat. They just bite until they don't bite no more, and you will see cords by the time they stop biting. I have run Vega yellows a lot. I've flipped them. The right sides, they work fantastic. You can, because they're such a bear to mount. You can run super low air pressure in them, and they'll just roll in and roll into the track and get all sorts of bite. They're arguably, now I like all tires. All tires have their circumstance, but it's probably the tire I have the most experience with. It's the tire that arguably I could say is my favorite tire, because of what they do and how well they do. Now you get something hard and fast, probably not the best choice. But that's yeah, that's that. But where I was going with that. So all year running the clone, AMS, you got to run burrs. You got to be, 11s or 33s. Careful with over prepping them. If you bring them in too hard, or just a wipe or two wipes here, I don't go crazy with them. I'm still trying to figure out the Reaper thing. So what kind of wipes go on those? But when I went to the one race that I was able to run my Vega yellows, was Adrenaline Mountain Cartway, and I treated them just like I treated them when I was on open. I did not care. I just and I wiped them, and they bit and they loved it, and it was so much fun. It was out there, the Vegas yellows. You can run them pretty much straight up on a harder, medium type track, or you can prep the dog snot out of them and make them bite on those. Get them down into the 20s and let them really chew up the surface. It's fun. Uh, it's going good. I'm a little tired today, so short story because nobody really cares, but I'll tell you anyway. I ran out of pre-workout. Now I know that you shouldn't be basing your workouts on your pre-workout, but hear me out that I work 8 hours and then I go directly to the gym after workout. So I need a little, you know, like, let's go. I need caffeine and everything else to really get me going. So I did have some L-citrulline, which is a pump enhancer. It helps blood flow. I was doing arms today. I still want that benefit, which a good pre-workout will have L-citrulline in it. So I took that instead of my pre, which my pre has a bunch of caffeine in it, and that really helps at the end of the day. Get up in the morning, I have coffee, caffeine. I don't really have caffeinated beverages during the day, but then at 5 o'clock or 4:40 ish, when I drink my pre workout to go to the gym at 5 o'clock, it kind of gives me that. Whoop, all right, let's do this thing. I did not have that today. I took a little siesta before dinner, and then my wife's like, "Hey, let's not walk the dog." I'm like, "Cool, I could just chill out for a little bit." Yes, yeah, absolutely, Joseph. You are correct. Yep. They will just keep on biting. I freaking love them. I got one last good set here that is either going to get run in PA or Ohio, depending on where I choose to run. But we'll see. I say one good set. I could run my others that I'm not. Hold on. Let me show you. This doesn't look like there's much of a dot left. Very thin there. No, I would not hesitate to run this again. Oh, by the way, do you know if you've been left reared? That was the last time I got to run my Vegas. I'm not quite sure. Do you think I got left reared? I was gonna make a funny video on it, and I never ended up doing it. Or maybe I recorded it. I never made it into a video. What's going on, Jason Black? Uh, oh, watching for Florida. How's that the hurricane going? Um, I haven't heard anything. So my dad is in Ocala, and one of my best friends, Jamie, is just outside of Daytona. Is he? No, no, no. He used to live in Deland with his uncle, but he's back over in Daytona, so or Daytona area, just outside of Daytona. So I have those two people. I know that Eddie Schreifels of UAS fame is a Tampa boy. I got a lot of friends down in Florida. Yeah, I've raced there twice and absolutely love both tracks. I ran Tampa at Dirt Devils, and then Dirt Devils. I think that's right. And then I ran Jasper at the Nationals, both tracks. It was it's still. Yeah, maybe I've mentioned it on this channel or not. I don't know. At the Nationals in 2019, there was a little like it had rained a bunch, and there was like a little divot in four. And I remember the track owner was just like, "I'm really sorry about the rough track, guys." And I was just like, "Rough track." It's just like you've never seen a north track. Uh, we some of these tracks turn into cobblestone sometimes. It's rough. They've been pretty good as of late. I won't throw any shade on any track prep that I've run as of late. Some are not the best, but um, fair. I've been on some brutal ones. Yeah, gonna pass just so I see. Cool. That's yeah. I wish everybody that storm. I mean, it's hurricanes aren't a new thing. It's it's unfortunate for when they do come landfall and all the flooding and destruction they can cause. But I mean, it's the hurricane's been around for as long as the Earth has been around. So there you go. Um, outside of Ocala, just nice, cool. Yeah, my old man just put I think it's Ocala, or at least the Ocala area. He had some property and had bought it up a couple acres or something, and then somebody came in wanted to develop it, so offered him a good chunk of money. I think he made a fair profit on that, but then turned around and put that money down on another chunk of land, and then they're putting a prefab on there. So um, yeah, I've always every time I've come down to Florida 4 or 5 times. I love it there. It's too hot for my wife, so she says. Would I have any problem living there? No. It takes me about a week to adapt. I get pretty whiny the first 2 3 days because it's just like I'm a northern boy. Listen, I don't own a winter jacket. Um, Sweatshirts. Heavy sweatshirts. That's all I have. I'm in New York, and all I have is heavy sweatshirts. I do not own a winter jacket. I'm used to this stupid cold. I don't like it, but I'm used to it. So when I get down into places like Florida, my blood is just like, dude, what are you doing? Now I love it. It's great, but also, yeah. Uh, good train. Oh, what was the one called the Bull Ring? Oh shoot! What was the one that is near Ocala? Oh, damn it. My old man helped a little bit when he first moved down to Florida. My old man helped there. Ah, shoot! As soon as you say it, I'm gonna know what the name is. I'm drawing a blank currently. Um, oh, bummer. Yeah, not Burbank. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Burbank is good. So I'm not saying no, not that one. But no, there's maybe it wasn't Ocala then. The oldest. It's the oldest dirt track in Florida. Small. It's a more bullring. I mean, it's probably eighth mile. Flat, of course. You don't have much banking down there in Florida for tracks. Um, boy, I'm drawing a freaking blank. As soon as maybe it'll pop in my head later. Um, anyway, okay. Good prep for groups. Any prep is going to be good for groups. Application wise, it depends what you want it to do. If you're looking to soften the tread, or if you're just looking to Fruitland Park, that's it. That nailed it. Yeah, he used to live. My old man used to live. He used to rent a house or something like half a mile down the same road that Fruitland Park was on. So he went down there and he was helping with the track at one point in time. But that was 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It was a while ago. Anyway, all right. So treads. Well, we kind of discussed this a little bit last week that I hesitate on telling anybody to prep internally with treads. I'm not saying it's not possible, but listen to my theory. We went over this last week, but I'll go ahead again. All right. You got to imagine that this is going to be underneath a tread. You're going to have a base layer, so it's going to be like this, except for you're going to have lugs that stick up off this. When you soften a tire from the inside, it's not going to penetrate those lugs nearly as far as you like. And what I think you might end up doing if you're using a softening agent, a softening prep, you're going to make this rubber too soft and possibly make a weak point that the lugs might chunk off. It's just, I have a sneaking suspicion in my head that it's pretty much physics that if you have a hard lug sitting on a soft surface, it's going to want to tear that lug off. Now, what I would do is prep it like I would prep any other, if I was running treads or grooves, I would prep it like I would any other tire, depending what you want to do. If you want to fire the tire off, something like PRW orange, just to bring the tire in. If you're looking to soften the tire, then you can get absolutely more aggressive. Better than GoP, SST, whatever, or whatever prep system you're using. Just wipe it from the outside. It's going to have the exact same behavior as on a slick wood. Just those lugs are going to get soft, so keep that in mind. You're going to find some wearing if you do intend to soften up the lugs. They're going to wear uneven. They're going to wear differently because you got to think they will move, with the track and start to do different things than say a slick would. Typically, a slick will either it'll feather across the tread. That means you got max grip type of thing, or it's just going to get the edge because the inside of the tire as you go around. This would be the inside. If you push this is going to ball up and create wear edge here. I actually check this out. Maybe you guys will find this interesting. Oh wait, hold on. Compared to Go, what is close to track active? Better than GoP Red is going to be there. It's just it's going to build close to the same amount of bite without destroying the tread. GoP, it works fantastic, but eventually it will dry that. What the element of it that makes the grip is also breaking down the tire, and eventually the durometer, if you intend on running those tires a long time, the durometer is going to raise and they're no longer going to be fast. Is it worth it to you? It's worth it to a lot of people to go ahead and apply GoP and get the race wins up front and then just pitch the tires type of thing. Or Topaz. Topaz is probably the closest thing that I have found to Go that isn't Go. And again, it's going to be, on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd say that better than GoP. If GoP is a 10, if you consider GoP the ultimate bite adder, the ultimate softener, I would say that GoP is a 10, Topaz is probably a 9, and better than GoP is probably an 8 in that sequence. But with the 8 and the 9, better than GoP and Topaz, you're not going to have that destruction of the tire if you intend to run those tires longer than just one race or a couple of races or whatever. All right, back on my story here that I got an email from the UK today, or maybe it was yesterday. It was yesterday, and I was just kind of blew my mind. Somebody, watching my channel across the seas. I know it's bound to happen. I have occasionally, got interaction from overseas. It's just weird. I'm some random dude. You're very welcome. Random dude in his barn, making videos about carts. Anyway, he was running road course, and he was wearing he was wearing the inside edges of his rear tires. Now he went in to explain how far apart they were, this and that. They run a softer compound, much like a Vega yellow, but the insides of the tires, he says it was strange that for whatever reason the insides of the tires on both tires were wearing. Now consider this is what I wrote back to him, that when we make it left turn only, that what I just said there, when you load the tire it's going to balloon the inside of the tire, and that's where the edge goes away on us. That's what wears. Well, that's happening on his, but on both sides. So I'm thinking my thing was that maybe he's not running enough rear air pressure that is causing, when he's entering the corner, it's causing those tires to roll over and chew up the inside of the tires. Maybe he needs to, increase the air pressure till that evens out across the tread. But that was my suggestion to him. I just thought that it would be worthwhile to mention um, that, and the simple fact it was kind of cool. Like, somebody from the UK got at me. I was like, that was awesome. I was pretty pumped about that. Okay, so it's better to treat the outside on the left sides and insides on the right sides of the cart. Is that hold on. Okay. When I say inside, I mean prepping from the inside out. That's I don't want any confusion there. When I say, when we roll tires, you put prep in the rim, and we would say this is a left rear. I put an ounce to an ounce and a half of prep, and then roll this for 24 hours. 25 would be fine too. You When I say inside, I don't mean that as in inside the outside surface. The inside is the inside of the tread that would be internally prepping a tire. That's what I'm suggesting not to do. Externally wipe it all over the tire. It doesn't matter right, left, up, down. You want the entire tire, the entire surface of the tire to be coated in the chemical. I hope that clears that up. I'm sorry if I made that uh, ununderstandable. Sometimes I talk too fast, and I get it, because I watch my videos back too, and I'm just like, if I just slowed down like that much, maybe I'd sound a little more intelligent. uh, yeah, it's just part of being famous. Don't even remotely mention that to my wife. Holy crap! Although this is also cool. I'm not bragging about it. So I do the shorts. I did surface the tire, or it was a dirty tire, and of course somebody's like, hey, if you clean those at track, you don't have to do them at home. And I know this. I've mentioned this in the videos. I raced AMS the night before we were going to NASCAR. As soon as I pulled off track, I just pulled in, I loaded my cart, and I rolled out, because I wanted to get home. I wanted to get a shower. I wanted to get to bed, because we're getting up early to go to NASCAR, to go to Watkins Glen in the morning. So normally I do not have dirty tires unless I intend on helping the durometer raise. Sometimes I'll leave tires dirty in order to pull some of the oil out of them so they harden up. I have to do a video on that eventually, but this was not the intent of that. Those were my 11s. I don't want the durometer to come up. I just happen to have dirty tires. I was like, oh, this will be fun to go from a dirty tire to a clean tire. So I made a short out of it. That short has 11,000 views on this channel uh, from just yesterday. And I'm like, whoa. I wish my actual videos did that well. But I digress. That's part of staying in the algorithm, is part of the game. I'm not good at being a celebrity. That's weird. That's anyway. The little things that I learn about it, I try and do. I don't. I'm not look at me kind of guy. Okay, just part of the absolutely thing. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I bet. I just wanted to clear that up. That when I was talking about inside, outside, inside prep, when I say inside prep, I mean from internally out. Rolling tires. So there's that. But yeah, that was 11,000 plays. Where I get all the action, I guess. I get the views on YouTube, but I also post that stuff on TikTok. I think I'm Ben Taff 633. Don't ask me why the other three is there. I think that I accidentally hit the three twice, and I'm on TikTok. So that's where their editing software is easier to use than YouTube's. So I edit you know uh, my tall videos, I'll call them, there, and then I save them, and then I'm able to share them here and there. So I share it. That's where all the interactions come from. Where people say, "Oh, this for a 10 horsepower go kart," and it's just like, All right, I got a 70 horsepower go kart over there. You want to try and wheel that thing? Because I guarantee you that you can't even hold on to the clone, Mister. I watch dirt racing on TV, and those are just little go karts. Yeah, yeah. There's always fun. I have been blessed that I have got very little hate on this channel, and it's to credit to a lot of you guys that understand how hard this stuff is, how much we love it, and all that. But you do have the naysayers and the people jumping in the comments just to be internet tough guys, and it's just like I'm way too old to be like, oh, you hurt my feelings. Oh no, did you insult me? Usually I just jab back, and I got in my first internet fight, my Twitter fight. That was awesome. I was commenting about NASCAR and making suggestions. Like, hey man, if they took some of the tire surface away, they would be cool. And this dude came back. Oh, you'd have to redesign the whole car. It's just like to thin up the width of the tire. I mean, I'm sure you have to adjust some stuff like offset stuff like that. They don't want to redesign the rim. I know they don't want to do it, but it's short tracks have suffered. It was merely a suggestion. I was just engaging in conversation. And then he came back with all racing has been, it's never been that great. I'm blah blah blah, and he gave all these years, and he was very specific about stuff. I was like, all right, cool, man. I guess we can't engage in conversation about what would make the sport better or anything like that. And he's just like, oh, you effing guys, and you can't even take a difference of opinion, this and that. And I had to remind him real quick. I was like, hey man, you poked me first. Like I was just making a suggestion, like get rid of the underbodies on short tracks, get rid of that diffuser crap on short tracks. Try and improve racing that way. Make air dirty, or make it so you can pack air on a guy, or these little things that maybe they could try. And then he called me a wanker. So it means he's British or English or something. So I kindly asked him what a wanker was. And then he says, look in the mirror. And I was like, oh. And then I congratulated him on being my first Twitter fight. And I said, signed the wanker. Uh, What's going on? I try not to engage in trolls and stuff like that, but it was almost fun because I don't take this stuff super seriously. At least those interactions, just like I can just imagine people just fuming behind their keyboards or their phone, just beat red, mad at something I said, and I'm over here giggling because I think it's hilarious. By the way, that was under it was a Kenny Wallace. I follow Kenny Wallace, and it was under one of his comments, and then Kenny Wallace liked my reply where I said, signed the wanker. I thought that was pretty funny too. Uh, much easier to clean them that track compared to oh yeah, absolutely. I always suggest that. In matter of fact, I've changed my perception on a lot of stuff. So, and part of it is due to my own laziness. So my suggestion to people has changed over the course of not too long. Like I just used to wash my tires on the cart. There's bearings there. I know it's not a great idea, but it just pure laziness. Don't take them off, this and that. I have found that taking your tires off in between, runs, you're able to pay more attention to them. You're not reaching up underneath your nose cone and just kind of getting your right front tire. Take your tires off. Sometimes I do leave the left front on just because it's a bear to get out of there, and I can get to it pretty good. But taking tires off, washing them, it makes you pay attention to them more. Also, if you're looking for staggering, this and that, wiping, it just makes it way more convenient. So, obviously, cleaning your tires before the end of the day, or you leave at the end of the day, makes for a lot less work when you get home. Although, if you're going to surface them anywhere, anyways, it remains to be seen whether or not you care to do that or not. But yes, it's not fair to be taken on someone. Yeah. And then I I'm open for discussion. Okay, you disagree with me, and and he had, okay, when they introduced a new car in NASCAR, it didn't do great the first, couple of years. Cool, except for this thing doesn't seem to be going anywhere fast. Like it's, yeah, it's 101 races, but it's been 3 years of this Gen 7. It's a spec car that nobody can get away from anybody. And what was it, Cliff Daniels? I just read a little bit ago before I got on there. I was thumbing through Cliff Daniels, and he was talking about how the Xfinity cars can pack air on the car in front of them, make them loose, make them tight. They can get to them. These are the Gen 7 cars are nose up. So it's creating this really weird between the diffuser and the nose being up. It's creating this weird airspace where you can't do that. If the trailing car gets anywhere near the bumper of the lead car, it just causes them to lose the nose, and that's the end of it. Well, it makes for, cars can't run together. The only time the Gen 7 works well is mile and a half, their intermediate tracks to where they can run three wide type of thing. And then it makes for better racing. My only point was that since the introduction of the Gen 7 is the racing's gotten worse on road courses, uh, super speedways, and short tracks. Something needs to be done. Like, that, not that they're going to listen to me. They give two craps who I am. But when the echoing, thing is just like, hey, that last race at Bristol was kind of bogus. You need to try and make bigger advancements than you do, and maybe shedding something like the diffuser out from underneath it, just make it bare bones under there again. Maybe nosing that down, like Cliff Daniels was saying. There's, to sometimes it seems like NASCAR is just, "Ah, we don't want to hear it. We created this car and just run it." It's like, respect the people that watch your sport, that care about your sport too. Put on a good product. But yeah, you should set your car up like mine. I have a secret recipe. That's it. Oh, I have it's strange, not strange, depending on what part of the country are, what kind of cross. I've talked about this before. Yeah, I know you can. I wouldn't take it take it to heart anyway. What part of the country you are, you go onto a manufacturer's website. I can go on to Phantom right now, and my is it a 21 scythe that's sitting right over here? It's going to tell me 65 to 69% cross. Well, up here that may not work so well. It really is. Those are merely recommendations for a lot of people. This is to get you started. You're probably going to want to adjust that, and I can tell you right now, their recommendation for that chassis is that. Also, the Recon sitting over here is going to be that higher cross as well. I had that thing down to 58. Worked really well. I am finding myself. I think I put a 5-pound puck in the nose. I'm finding myself losing drive off of 4, especially at this track here. I think I'm going to take off that weight, see what happens. I initially put it up there to get my nose percentage up because that's what to help it turn. But I almost think it's too much. I keep on feeling the rear step out on me. And it may be a balance between too much nose weight and because I got the cross too low. So I put cross back into it. And I believe I'm going to take that weight out and just see how it behaves this weekend. Because at the beginning of the season, when the track was soft, when it was colder out, which it's going to be Saturday, the cart handled really, really well with slightly higher cross than that. I mean, I'm still low 60s, but still, yep. Yeah, set it up for you and not me. That's uh, my buddy Tommy. Long time ago, I was running. I had a Trick Panaz, and then the whatever came after it. It was an O 04. I had an O 04 and O 05. Apex, yes, Apex, Trick Apex. So O 04 Panaz, O 05 Trick Apex, and I was on. We're both on sedans. He had done something to his chassis, or something happened, or he was on something old. I said, "Hey, why don't you put your engine on my O 04, and then just run it?" Had body work the whole nine. Just get in it, race it. He ended up running second, and I was very specific when I said, "Hey, if it's loose, this is old school kart, so we're talking 52 to I know I never ran over 58% cross on the thing, so we'll say 52 to 58 cross range. If it's loose, put cross in it, get it up 56, 57% cross. If it's tight, take cross out of it, get down to that 52%. He's like, yeah, he got in it, finished second. He's like, man, that thing's a rocket. I said, well, continue to run it. Just, do those things. Well, Tommy loved to tinker on stuff. And Tommy, next thing you know, he's moving the seat and this and that. And then he's falling back and back and back. We went down to PA to a UAS race, and it just wouldn't handle worth a crap. And it was just like, you moved everything. It's like, I told you, just cross in, cross out. Now, that there was probably a bit of, because I ran so well in that chassis, a bit of arrogance on my part, like, hey, this is all you need to do. But Tommy and I are far different structures. He is very tall, very lanky. I am not. I'm small. So even though that my settings worked really well at that particular track where he finished second, they did not work at other tracks, and that's why he was searching for stuff. But yeah, it's just people could jump in my cart here and be like, how can you drive that crap? And I would be like, it's the way I like it. I have it set up not entirely the way I love, because I'm not winning on it currently, but that you have to keep that in mind, that you just can't jump in somebody else's cart and absolutely love the way they've set them up. That's why there's small your small you're yoked, sir. And I'm not yoked. The rewind. This was 10 years ago. I don't know. Oh shoot! I don't have any pictures of when I would have been on that chassis. What cart was that? Oh, that was 2014. Oh, I don't even know what cart that was. I can look around at all these things and tell you what I think what chassis I was on. What was I on there? Was that the Panaz? That might have been the Panaz. All right. So that cart right there, I believe, 2014. That was at Dumpling Valley. Um, Dumpling Valley. That was a Panaz. It's a Recon, Northeast Divisional Champ. This was a Scythe. There's a Scythe. This was my mess here, guys. At the end of the season, that was a Axiom. Was that the Axiom? That was the Axiom. Okay, up here, that was the Apex. That was at Blairsville. This was the Axiom as well. Just different, yeah, Axiom. Different body work. I've been on a couple chassis. Yeah, but anyway, I was a lot smaller back then. I'm fat now. What do we got? Recon. That was a Deuce, and oh shoot, I think that was the another picture of the Axiom. I can't remember what was underneath that one. Anyway, I thought I could tell you what all those things were. I cannot. Uh, the older you get, your memory goes down. I would absolutely freaking love it. It's on my bucket list every year. Every year and the thing that really gets me is, from what I know, especially the opens, the UAS guys run Vega yellows down there, and because it's that hard to get a hold of type stuff and prep the dog snot out of them type of race. I've been meaning to go for as long as I've been racing, or close to it. We'll leave out the first couple of years. So I've been racing. My daughter just turned 22. I've been racing for 22 years. We'll leave out the first couple. So for 20 years, I've been intending on coming to Daytona one of these years. I just have yet to make it. It's just a very, very it's it's 18 hours down there. I have a place to stay. That's the whole thing. Everything. If I had the finances to pay for my fuel to come down, I have vacation days. I can make that work. So that lines up. That like if I had the finances to come back down, and I would probably need one set of tires, two sets of tires, somewhere in there. Like I said, Vegas are I'd abuse the snot out of them. I'm not afraid to come down with one or two sets of tires. But um, I have places to stay. It just has to be to where I can just make it work. Uh, I would like to say yes. I would really would. I would love to. I would love to come down south more than I do. Um, yeah, being a broke ass racer sucks. So, if anybody were to ever think that, oh, Ben makes lots of money on YouTube, I do not. Mrs. Star ever had a stalker, banshee, or nemesis? I have not. I have had friends on nemesis though. And nemesis is a very good chassis, especially up north here. I don't know about down south. I don't know how they behave anymore down south with it. If you got newer components on them, the biggest thing with anything is there's an argument to be had whether or not a chassis will flex out. Do I think that moving bars a lot, G forces will tend to shift and move stuff? Yes. Does that mean the chassis is junk? No, your components are what wear out. So with any of those, if you were to be able to replace the components on them, do I think they could be competitive still in some capacity? Yes. I'm sure somebody somewhere is running a really old nemesis against brand new stuff. It's still doing well because they know what the chassis does. They know what it likes. But I would also be willing to bet that person that is on that old nemesis or whatever has freshened up the bearings, has freshened up the axles, has spindles or whatever it was, that those components aren't worn out. That's probably the biggest detriment to older chassis, is that the components on them do wear out. Obviously Heinz and stuff like that just go south after a long time. um, but no, I haven't been on. I've only been on Phantom since 2017 to answer that question. That was the first Phantom. Those were the first Phantoms I owned, was Recons, and since then Recon, Scythe, and the Deuce. I had the Deuce at one point in time. Super fast chassis, just couldn't consistently get it to do what I needed it to do. So the Scythe was way more a better, going back to the Recon, and then the Scythe was a little bigger tire window, but the Deuce had raw speed like out the wazoo. Um, they have Vega and Maxxis races. It's usually 3 a day thing. Yep. Uh, talking about the yeah. Yep. Yeah. Budget racing it. Yeah. Uh, Seraph is. I've heard that. What was it? Was it the Icon? They were brutal fast if you could hit the tire window on them. And I think the Seraph was, people swear by their Seraphs. Um, the little smaller tire window. This is just what I've heard. I've obviously never been on it. So, but yes, it's yeah, it's tough. It's the some people love their older stuff and they can keep it rolling and it's great. But yes, AMS budget raising. Yeah, that I'm a budget racer. There's no doubt about that. I bought two, three, three brand new sets of tires this year, and they were Reapers because I planned on doing some Reaper racing. And then I bought two sets of Burst 11s, both used. The one set was well used, and the my what I consider my good set. They're 2 seasons long on them now. So yes, I know all about that budget stuff. Yeah, and that's one thing about Reaper. It falls right in my wheelhouse of what I can afford, which is that's not a lot. It's some people. I remember, thinking that, oh, what it would be to buy a case of, say, when I was running UAS, just buy a case of right side Vegas. Oh, that'd be wonderful. Just like, what am I going to do with all these tires? That'd be great. Definitely have to work on this winter, over the working some OT, doing what I got to do. Coming out of the gate next year with some fresh stuff. Definitely need, this set will be a nice backup for 11s, or I can run that left front. Maybe I'll just get a dog leg. Uh, but I definitely need a set of 11s, if not a couple set of 11s. More one set of 11s, and then freaking 33s. I would love to do some of these other races up here, the weed sport, stuff like that. I would love to try my hand at it. Um, but it takes tires. It's cubic dollars. It's, I'll pee with the PP I have. There, fixed it. It's a term I use all the freaking time. I just can't on this platform. If you notice, I don't swear on here. I treat you as if I was speaking to my grandmother. But yes, I need to make a decision sooner or later here. I got 2 weeks to figure it out. I'm running Saturday, running Cologne for the last time, maybe. Um, uh, Running Cologne the last time at AMS on Saturday, and then I either am going to run the UAS divisional at Blanket Hill in PA, UAS. It's 3.75 hours away from me, and not that big of a deal. Or the 5,000 win down in Ohio. Uh, is it Ron Stevens Memorial Race? I would absolutely love to make it down to that, but it's also 7.5, 8 hours. But 8 hours by the time I get down there, gas stop. The time you make up driving, you pee away when you stop to pee, get a bite to eat, whatever. So it's you kind of it's usually about 8 hours. When you look at anything, I just add half an hour to whatever the travel time was, and it ends up being that. But if I do that race, if I go down to the 5K to win race, I'm not coming down Friday. I'm gonna have to come down Saturday morning, which means I got to leave at, we'll say, 6, 7 a.m. And drive straight through, do what I can, just get there, which is not that big of a deal. Race the race. I'll probably crash in the back of my truck um, at the track, or wherever. Probably at the track. Just take some siestas, sleep in the back of my truck, get up and haul tail and come back Sunday. To whereas if I run the Blanket Hill race, um, I don't have to leave till 11 a.m. Get down there early. It's fine, and then race the race, and then I'll be home Saturday night. So, convenience. Also, really depends on how many carts are going to be there. I, I I would love to go to the Blanket Hill one to support Mark and the UAS. Obviously, there's no beef between me and the UAS. I haven't run that much this year, and I just trying to keep the travel down. I would love to go and support those guys, but also that 5K is awfully tempting. But also, I know the big guns are coming out for that. I know it's going to be aggressive. I know it's going to be. I don't want to say dirty racing, because they have right in the rules that that will not be tolerated, which is awesome. I definitely support that. Just putting it out there, like, hey, you ain't gonna be dumping nobody here, or else you're getting a black flag type of thing. I'm on board with that. But also, when the fast guys show up, and then you're showing up, and it'll be the second race of the year that I would have done on my open. It's a pretty daunting task to run up front and try and shoot for that 5K. But you never know. You hit tires. I got full confidence in my engine. Um, Chassis setup, not so much. That thing's been a bear this past year, and I don't know what I'm missing on it. She's going on the scales here next week, and I'm gonna figure some stuff out. I'm gonna try some different stuff and move stuff around. Um, Try something. I gotta do something, because it's not a bent chassis. It's not. I'm just missing something. The thing was fast. I won the 2022 Northeast region, or Northeast. No, I'm sorry, Central Pennsylvania, or Central New York championship on it. It went and won the last race of the season to secure that victory. So I'm something happened. I did something. I'm missing something. Something's going on. It's driving me freaking nuts, because every time I've gotten behind the wheel the past year and a half, it's something's off, and I don't know what it is. It's bugging me. Uh, anyway, have I ever run a Prowler? I have not run a Prowler. My old man has run Prowlers. He had the old ones, the 1 3/8, big thick boys, way back when. Um, He was super fast. Or wait, no, strike that. I ran his Prowler at Tampa. Yes, I qualified fourth or seventh. Oh boy, it's a while ago. Uh, Shoot, that was it was probably 15 years ago, wasn't it? Or close now, not 15, 12 years ago, 12 years ago at least. Um, yeah, I ran his Prowler then. Did I own a Prowler? No, but did I run it? Yes. I remember we specifically got into uh it was back in the we didn't get in an argument like a screaming match or anything like that, but I went out and I said, "Man, this thing is tight." And he's just like, "Oh, it's just a little heavy wheeled or something like that." I was just like, "Yeah, but it doesn't have to be." And I that might be if I were to reflect back, that may be the start of when I started to learn more about what I was looking for in chassis and what adjustments, worked. And he's just like, "Oh, take two washers across out of it." And I think I took five. And then I also bumped my pressures. He had 4 and 5 in it. I bumped all my pressures up to like 6 and 7 just to get the thing freed up. And boy, it was a freaking rocket. Matter of fact, I think if I'm not mistaken, he had his first 450. He had made a training list or Suzuki 450, and I was coming around to lap him, and I think I hit him coming by. Like I just mistimed it when I was coming by. I tapped him, and it went whoop, and just flung me to the infield. What was it Mark Dees that was leading that race? And he saw me go around. He says he pulled back in the track, and then he was running in first. And he was like, "Dude, I don't know if you were pulling me, but you were holding your own. I thought I was going to come up to lap you." And he says, "You finished the race just as far, if not a little farther than, so I was running, darn near the leader's pace. I think I qualified seventh. I got up to fourth. That's what it was. And then I think I went around when I hit my old man, we came around to lap him. And then and by the time I got out of the infield, Mark was coming around and he says I was pacing him. He said he couldn't catch me, which was freaking awesome. But yeah, I have been on a Prowler. I just have never owned a Prowler. Looking for We are looking for new days, either Charger or Phantom. Cool. Um, Both great choices. And this Footloose is the way to go right now, Jesus. I saw one of those Footlooses up close. Robbie Yao, uh, absolutely smoking on and open on him. And then I saw Kelsey Pease up here at AMS. What a fantastic looking piece. Those Footloose chassis are really, really cool looking. Very well designed, clean, nice and clean. I love that when a chassis is very well put together and very purposeful. That is they're very good. I'm a big fan of a lot of different chassis companies. Yes, I run Phantom. I absolutely love my Phantoms. Doesn't mean I'm not a fan of other chassis companies. Absolutely not. I would ride anything. I've rode a lot over the past 20 years. So big fan of a lot of different companies. Some of them, I might not ever get back on. Personal preference. I don't like super tight chassis. I can tell you that. Um, but it doesn't mean that chassis, whatever chassis companies those are, couldn't correct it, or maybe I was doing something wrong. I'm currently having a tight problem in the site, so who am I to say? But I would Phantom, or you couldn't go wrong with Phantom or Charger. Both fantastic chassis, absolutely. Searching for a motor to run it. Nice. Uh, I My intent is to go to uh, Iowa 2025. Is that it? That Delaware Speedway. Um, my When I see that track looks like something that we Northerners would race on. Now, I've been there's been a couple times in the Grand Nationals, specifically my experience. Awesome, yes. My experience was it's a bummer. It happened twice. So Route 68, I believe, is in Ohio. Is no longer in existence, but we ran the nationals there. It had downpoured, and all the Southerners had their Maxes, and oh no, and this and that. And I walked right in my trailer, and I walked right out, and I grabbed my soft Vegas, and I put them on my cart. And I was sitting up until Robbie Sarchette went out. I was sitting first in practice after it rained, just ripping, just exactly what I needed to do. And then as it dried out, as it came back to to what Max's tire track, I lost it. And I think I had a harder set of Vegas that I went to, and they did okay. But it was like I needed it wet. The same thing when we're down in it was 2020, the Grand Nationals, when we were in practice on Friday night. I know being fast in practice isn't everything, or it's not the race, Ben. I'm well aware, but I think Bob Clapper came up and he was just like, dude, top 10 speed. And I was like, sweet, I'm on board. I was on Vega yellows. And then when it came the day of the race, they stopped watering the track. They stopped prepping it like I think they normally would have. And it became a hard type track again. And then it just kind of, lends itself to the Southern drivers that are better with that harder tire combination. And I see Delaware and I think, man, that looks like a looser type track that I'm used to driving. And I'm like, will it stay Vega Yellow type? Because I really would love it if it did. Uh, yeah, I really hope. I will also add this in, not to throw shade on Maxis too much. Vega whites might be a good choice if it is a Vega yellow track. Everything I've heard, don't own any. That Vega whites can be as fast as Vega yellows. Vega whites, no. So Maxis whites can be as fast as Vega yellows. This is hearsay. This is I don't. This is what I've heard, that the whites are super duper fast in a situation where you might need Vega yellows. So that if that track is going to be that way, that might be an option. That might be. I long for that type of thing that it isn't a Southern style track at a Grand National. I would like it to be harder to get a hold of. I would like it to be, or if it's going to be grippy, have it be wet grippy. Just something that throws a monkey wrench in. It's not that I have beef with Southern racers, but they're really good at what they do, and I think that's fantastic. I just would like to, I would like the Northerners to have the possibility to show what we're good at soft tires and manipulating tires and doing what we do up here. But it remains to be seen. We'll see. We'll see. But it's only a 12 and a half hour poll. So my intent right now is absolutely I'm going to go, which means I have to run some quarter points next year, which means I have to be a member of UAS, which is fine. I mean, up until this point, I was darn near a member since they started doing the membership, so not a big deal. Okay, yeah. Maxis pink and blue usually. Sometimes there you go. That's great, dude. Good for you, Jacob. That's awesome to hear. I'm uh, see that? That's Sunday's video, the Reaper. Now, I have to go through the footage. I shot it yesterday. I have to go and edit and do all that stuff. But I talk about the Reaper and I talk about what I've heard, what I've experienced, this and that. Now, I did talk for 20 minutes on, recording the video. So I don't remember exactly what I said. I think I have a good idea of where I was going with things. So I think it's audible. But I talk about my experience with that and what I've heard. That is probably the biggest thing. My experience is one thing. I'm, very, very few races up here. I ran them 4 times up here and changed tires and see what they would do, see how they behave because I wanted to know. But for everybody that, just like, oh, Reaper's a junk. They are not. They are not a junk tire. They just take a different way of prepping of a way they just like different things than Maxis. If you're expecting it to be a Maxis, that's like asking a Maxis pink and blue to be like a Vega yellow. It's not going to happen. It's not the same type of rubber. You don't prep it the same. You don't treat it the same. It's just not the same. So the Reaper is not a junk tire. It doesn't bead off the rims. I ran it on a 440 pound open go-kart. I ran a set of Reapers running 2 and 3 psi. They did not come off the rims. I I think it's a quality tire. It just takes a little bit of change to make work. And it's just, I think the people, some of the people griping about them are people that are really good at Maxis, really, or whatever platform you're on. I don't want to pick on Maxis because I do like Maxis. If you're on Burris and you prefer Burris, if you're on Vegas, you prefer Vegas. I get it that, Reaper, but cost wise, the amount that they're kicking back to the racing community, putting up these money races, what have you, I'm sure their bottom line isn't hurting. It's fantastic. They make money. People are in business to make money, but also to offer a tire, at 145 bucks a set and to put up these big races, I give them kudos. It is not a bad tire. It just takes different stuff. Um, Blues there, but back on the yellows. Yep. Kurt count probably not as good as the Nationals. But okay. And that's just that, with if there's a bunch more carts on that track, JR, it very well might get a little harder, but I don't think, as long as it doesn't get as hard to get on to pinks and blues, that's my biggest, like, stay a Vega track. I can only hope. I can only hope that's the way it goes. And not saying I'm going to do great on it. It's just I would like it to be, mixed up a little bit. The being on a track, not saying the AMS, for instance, you can, when you run open, you can run Vega yellows there. It would be great not that you could have a national there because they trying to fit 20 carts on that time. Opens especially would be a absolute nightmare. But a track like that to where that the type of surface that a northerner is used to, somebody that slips and slides and it's hard to get a hold of and all that stuff. I think to challenge the drivers, just get them out of their element. I'm sure, I am positive of it. Mark my words that Evan C, no matter what type of track it is, Chris and him will go to work and they will figure it out. They will be a force to be reckoned with. Absolutely. I don't care if it's a Vega yellow tire. I don't care if it's a Reaper tire. They are going to be top contenders every single time. Every time they come to the track, they will figure it out. But we're not as handicapped when it comes to a track like that, being northerners, people who run softer tires. My experience with Maxis is limited because I don't go down south that often. So when I go down there, not only are they brutal fast, but I am also handicapped because I don't have that experience. To whereas coming up here, at least they're handicapped slightly, completely have confidence that they would figure it out and become brutally fast on it. But there's a bigger variance there that closes up, that isn't, like, all of a sudden they're not vulnerable, but it's possible. Hey, I'm really good with Vega yellows. Maybe this might be my time, type of thing. Anyway, um, skip down there, the grinder and the cart after each run, no internal, 1 or 2 wipes and they will run. Yes, that's one of the things. Perform the same as a mix. Nice. Yeah, cool, man. The Reaper video. That's so. Just a couple things. It'll be in the video. No big deal. I don't. I have gotten varying things. My experience with it, they like heat. The hotter you can get them, the better they grip. That's my experience, and everything that leads me to believe that they like heat is just that when you can over prep them and it can be good. I didn't have good luck with over prepping them the first time I ran them. The track just might not have accepted it. That's fine. But I had somebody I trust say they prepped the dog snot out of them, internal, external, and they bit up and they were super duper fast. Fantastic. I've also heard even up here that they like to be ground. They like to be thinner, which might lend itself to, if a thinner tread is going to heat up quicker, it's going to dissipate that heat quicker, but it will heat up faster than it's going to take a little longer for a thicker tire to build up that kind of heat, where a thinner tire is going to heat up a lot quicker. Again, it'll dissipate that heat a lot quicker too, but grinding them seems to be a thing. Somebody down south was mentioning, get them thin. When if you they were talking about the horsepower nationals, Like buy your tires and get them thin. That's what they're gonna like. I've heard it from up here. I've heard it from down there. There has to be something to that. Now, prep wise, if I'm going to mention prepping to anybody on Reaper, I'm going to suggest not to go crazy. That being said, somebody told me prep them like crazy, and they really work. It's oof. Yep. They're real rubber compounds. Hence, yes. Yep. So we have a lot of that up here. Like um you can grind, be at the track and grind and burst tires, and nothing to hear that, and just taking off the top. They like that. They like to be fresh every single time, and then prep them from there. That's people ask me about burst racing, and I don't typically prep burst before I go to a track. They don't get a base layer of prep usually. That doesn't mean that's always the case. Matter of fact, they're sitting right over here. I may have wiped a wipe or two of something on them to see if it works well this Saturday. I think it should help. Being their older tires, I'm willing to experiment a little with them. But that's I'd say building heat in the tire is almost essential for the Reaper, as far as my experience, as far as people I've talked to. So take it for what you will. I'm no Reaper expert by any means, but I'm trying to absorb. People talk to me. Must be because I have a YouTube channel. But people mention things to me, and I try and put it all in my noodle and try and make sense of it. And they're like, all right, well, this person said this, and that makes sense because of what I experienced here, type of thing. To whereas, also I had a friend lock himself down. He put too many wipes on his left rear, and it locked him down. So there's that. Uh, yep. Yeah. Grinding reapers. That's Terry Odom has said that to me. Local guy who's really good tires on. He says he's as soon as there was a reaper race, he started grinding tires. Get that fresh rubber. Get it to the top. Get it to where you can run on, and don't be afraid of it. Getting too thin, because they they don't behave like other tires. That was why the one video too. I got to work on my cutting. Obviously, I'm no pro at it. It just hasn't been a necessity with the open. I just never have really gotten into it because of that. So I'm trying to learn. So I started cutting on the one Reapers, and it's okay. The surface looks okay. Of course, I had somebody on TikTok just like, "Oh, that thing's junk now." Okay, if you say so. You burned it up. And it's like, well, no, I ground it. I mean, Reapers like grinding. Are you comparing it to a Maxxis? That's what the beginning of the stream I said that, like, hey, not that you guys do it, but keep in mind other people run different types of tracks all the time and different types of tires all the time. That what you can suggest things, but don't matter of factly everything. You gotta do this or they don't work. It's just like, you know, keep in mind you're down south. We're up north. Two different tires too. But all right, 68 minutes again has gone by. I can't thank you guys enough for coming by. It is weird that it's just me talking in my garage. I know I do this for videos and stuff, but it just like that. And thank you very much for engaging with me. And I really do look forward to Thursdays. Initially it's like, oh man, I got to do a live stream, but I get out here. I get the banter with you guys in the chat. We get to talk about things and ask me questions. I think it's fantastic. I thank you very much for doing it. It really does. It makes Thursdays awesome. So yes, video will be on Reapers coming Sunday, and I'm gonna race. I didn't post any footage of the last race in the clone because it was just I finally downloaded it, and there's nothing exciting. I was slow. I mean, I can observe my footage, but I was slow. It was there was nothing cool going on, so I didn't post it. Anyway, hopefully I'll have better footage for you after this race, and I'll do that. So, all right, guys, I will see you guys for the video Sunday, and then next week we'll do this stuff again. All right, later.